Morning, guys. I really have to apologize to you because I know it's been forever since I've posted either, like, on both Witches of Balance and on my personal channel. I've been really busy lately, which, I mean, I know is no excuse because we all are, but, yeah, my jobs have both been scheduling me in such a way, that I, like, never, and I mean never, have a day off anymore. Sometimes I have half a day off, but, that time is spent catching up on things or whatever, and I've really neglected my videos. So, and I'm really sad about that because I've been watching Witches of Balance, and there are so many great topics flying around. We have had taxidermy. Some of my friends are talking about the spirit-filled pagan and having a Pentecostal background. What else? Lots of stuff. I know we've had a few requests that have been really good. Peace and Compassion requested meditation and ascension, which I'm definitely going to get to that one because that's a good one. And Kat's posted tons of great videos, so just all around lots of activity, and I'm really happy with how my friends are doing, but I think it's time I contribute. And I really want to talk about all these topics. I really do, because they're great. But Kat brought up a topic that I feel like I want to contribute to. She brought up on Facebook kind of talking about stress and where our stress comes from, how we deal with it, so on and so forth. And I thought I would start off covering this one just because it's such a stress is something that I really have to learn to deal with better. So I thought I'd talk to you guys about it. And when I think of stress, I mean, stress is just a part of life. We all have it. We have jobs and families and responsibilities and things that cannot be ignored, that we have to deal with because, you know, they have to be dealt with. We can't just not deal with things because we don't want the stress. But there are other things, I think. When I think of stress, I think there's something going on in the world, and I have felt this for a long time, which I'm going to get into kind of how it ties into my current, my very new and current, you know, spiritual quest. For a long time, you know, I've just noticed things about the human race in general and how we create so much stress in our own lives, like not just things that we have to deal with, but things that we create. But there are other really deeper things, I think, going on in the human race in general, very deep things that I think create stress in our lives, and so create illness and discontent and even mental disorders and tragedies. Now, there's something, and I'm so sorry, I should have planned out this video because I have a lot to say, so hopefully I don't lose my train of thought. But, maybe if you guys have watched my personal channel, maybe you have heard me mention, or even talked to me on Facebook, like how I feel that a disconnect from our planet is causing disconnect amongst human beings and spirituality and divinity in general, and so is creating chaos in the world. You look at even the most basic things, like our sustenance, our food. A lot of the food we eat, you know, Kraft macaroni and cheese and McDonald's and things that are like staples in you know, at least America, probably, you know, staples all around. That stuff is, you know, like powder-based foods. You know, freaking mechanically processed, pressed meat. The slaughterhouses and how the animals are pretty much engineered in factories. You have just soil that a lot of our plants and crops are grown in that doesn't contain all the minerals that it should because it's so poisoned and overused that now all of the many, many, many minerals that we are supposed to be consuming, we are not. Water is heavily chlorinated. Our meat is even chlorinated, I think. Things are going on. with even just things like our basic need to eat is being kind of removed from the natural way and the natural process of consuming it. Even the fact that, you know, most of us spend a large percentage of our days in big brick or concrete buildings underneath fluorescent lights, hardly ever going inside. Our face is kind of glued in front of screens all the time. Alright, I'm making this very long-winded, but you guys understand what I'm getting at, that there's a huge disconnect there. And this is something I've thought about for a long time, what kind of made me discover paganism to begin with. And that, I haven't read the book, but I read about a book called Earthing. It's like a New Age book, and it was kind of like one of those moments where something just like hits you across the head that makes you feel essentially very sad. There was this book I read about called Earthing, where basically it's like a New Age book that like goes into how walking barefoot on the earth is like a healing kind of a process, and the act of walking barefoot on our planet is called earthing. And I mean, I'm sure it's a great book. It's actually the type of book that I would love to read. I'm sure there's all kinds of information in there that gives the reasons of why that's a healing process. But there was something very sad about it also, and that now we are writing books where we are putting a specific name to walking on our own planet. And it like it made me think of how you know, and that led into the situation we have with food and even government and how it kind of rules in a, you know, we won't get into that. I won't get into that. But because that's, you know, another topic for another day, I guess. But just a very unnatural way that we live on our planet has made us almost alien in our own environment. You know what I mean? Like, we have somehow, like, once upon a time we were part of the cycle of the earth. I guess we still are. I mean, we live, we die, we come back. In my opinion, that's what happens. But we no longer hunt and gather our food. And you know the strange thing about that, you know, another thing that's one of those things that is slightly disturbing to me. And please don't get offended if you're somehow against hunting or whatever, because I understand, especially vegans who think it's bad all the way around, so please don't read into much to what I'm saying. But like, I have seen people get upset with hunters who hunt their own food and use that food for meat and sustenance to sustain their lives. That's how they get their meat. And these people will attack hunters or, you know, be offended by what they do because, you know, they're going out and they're hunting and they're killing deer. And when I see that, I almost wonder, do these people have any idea what goes on in the slaughterhouses of where we get our meat? Like, they almost, like, when we go to the grocery store and buy our meat and it's all packaged and nice and whatever, it's almost like we lose sight of the fact that it's an animal. Like, we don't think of the fact that that is an animal, what we're eating. So then when they think of hunters, they think of a man or woman or whoever going out with a bow and arrow or with a gun or whatever and shooting an animal, and it offends them. I wish these people would only realize what animals are treated like in the slaughterhouse, and that what hunters are doing is by and far more humane than what most of us are doing in eating the meat that we buy at stores. Same thing with my sister. My sister raises goats. She raises them for milk, and she is planning on raising goats for meat. I think she has actually raised a meat goat before, and she's had people kind of judge her for that. That, like, how can you keep an animal and then eat it? And she will tell these people that she is okay with it because she knows that the animal that she is eating has lived a good and happy life. So what I'm getting at with all this, this is something that I could go on and on about, but basically I think that the way that we live, the general way that the human population lives, is very, very disconnected from the natural order of things, from the natural way of things. And so what's happening is we are getting sick, and then adding to that off-balance cycle, we get sick because we eat fake food and we drink water that is poisonous, and we live in a way that is poisonous to us. Then we get sick and we seek medical help. And then we pump our bodies full of more poison that leads to more problems, that then in turn leads to more medication. And please, again, if you are on medication, I understand. We have reached a point where, my mother, she's very sick. She has polyarteritis nodosa, which is a form of vasculitis. She has to be on medication. Like, my mother could not stop her medication and just go holistic and be fine. She has to have that. But what I'm saying here is that I think a lot of the reason why people have to have medication and have to have those things in order to survive is because we have somehow disconnected from the earth and from our spiritual inclinations and our understanding of that, and even each other. And all of these things in the past, when we were connected, healed us. People healed us. Plants healed us. Animals healed us. Food healed us. And water healed us. Now all of these things are poisonous to us. We're poisonous to each other. You have people now who are very, very sick, cancer. Like, it's almost like a miracle, I think, if you live your life and you do not have some form of cancer. People are even, severe mental disorders. People are killing each other. People, all kinds of horrible things that, like, for most of us people, like, to even think about the horrible, horrible things that other human beings are capable of, that is a sickness in their head. There's a million different reasons, like, people, whatever, I won't get into it. I guess that, too, is another topic for another day. But essentially, I know this video is getting long, and, like, if you can see what I'm saying about stress, like, there's our normal, everyday things that go on that create stress for us, but I think that there is a huge underlying problem, a very, very big underlying problem that just physically, emotionally, mentally creates a stress on us, even if we don't know what's happening, because we are harming ourselves in the way that we live. This video, I should probably wrap it up soon because I gotta go to work. Talk about poisoning yourself. I'm the person who freaking goes to work in the customer service every single day of my life. But anyway, I don't want you guys to get the impression that I'm here to preach to you and tell you that you're wrong in doing, because I do too. I spend so much time on the internet, it's ridiculous. Like, when I'm not working or whatever, a lot of my time is spent on YouTube and on Facebook and all those things that I said did not want to happen. They are happening. I work in a big concrete building under fluorescent lights where people are walking around essentially miserable every day. I do these things. I eat McDonald's. I eat mac and cheese. So I am by no means putting this video out there to say that I'm perfect and everybody's got it wrong. Together, collectively, we've got it wrong. And I wanted to bring it up because those things, before I ever even came into paganism, those were things that I believed, and those were things that I knew I wanted to do a certain part to change it. And then when I discovered, it started with witchcraft. I first found out, like, read about witchcraft and whatever, and that kind of led into paganism as a whole. And it was one of those things, like, it was just like, my God, like, this is what I think. And I just wanted to put that out there for you guys to think about. I'm sure, obviously, this is the pagan community I'm speaking to, so you guys probably have thought about all of this. And I think not only have you thought about it, but are things that most of us are pretty much in agreement on. So, whatever. Let's all do what we can to get outside more and start earthing. Walk on the ground barefoot. Let's put a name to that, I guess, if we have to, and go outside and start earthing. Yeah, just, I wanted to give you guys that to think about it, and, yeah, I'm done. I've been wrapping up this video for the past 5 minutes, so goodbye. Thank you guys. I do want to get to taxidermy for Lunar Wolf Maiden. I do want to get to meditation for peace and compassion, and all these other topics are great, so I hope to catch up soon. And thank you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.